So, Ray Avery, what's your background?
I trained as an analytical chemist, and then I became a pharmaceutical scientist. And I realised very early on in my career that being an academic scientist wasn't for me. So I became an applied scientist. So I'm the kind of guy who pulls a watch apart, works out how it works, then tries to apply that technology to some other paradigm.
So what are the major things that have happened to you over the last 10 years?
Well, I realised that one person actually can change the world. I invented a little bit of technology that makes low-cost intraocular lenses, and that enabled us to get sight to about 11 million people. So that's a big deal in terms of healthcare delivery. And I realised if I could do that, I could actually look at other problems in the developing world setting, like infant nutrition, a low-quality delivery of incubators, and a whole lot of nutritional technology wasn't being addressed. So we went into our laboratory and worked out how to do that.
Wow. So what does it mean for you now? What have you left set up?
Well, we're rolling out. We've got a factory in Nepal that's making nutritional products which will change the world for millions of kids. We're making low-cost incubators, and we've got a product which is an intravenous controller which will revolutionise intravenous therapy worldwide. A lot of kids die simply because they get the wrong amount of medicine. So we've developed a little kind of clicking device which can adjust the flow very accurately, equivalent to, say, a $2,500 syringe pump. It costs $6. So
wow.
what we do is make technology accessible. So I think what the problem is in the medical world is that the multinational companies basically sequester science. My job is to get it out to the general population.
So you're going into an industry and you're really lowering the cost and shaking it up.
Absolutely.
What challenge does that bring with it? Yeah.
Well, you look under your car, it's set as a bomb in developing countries. But no, I think the issue is that in developing countries, people die because they don't have access to healthcare that's affordable to them. So, for instance, intraocular lenses that we made cost $300 about 20 years ago, and we've reduced that price now to about $4.
Wow.
So that means that a Sherpa in Nepal can get his eyes fixed and see and contribute to society, whereas before he would have been blind for the rest of his life because it was a whole year's salary to get the operation. So making healthcare accessible makes life worthwhile for me, really, because otherwise I would be an academic scientist working in a laboratory and not being a very interesting fellow, really.
So making all this real world change, I think we're all pretty familiar with some of the big challenges, but what are the big challenges and opportunities in going forward for you and what you're trying to do with the world?
I think the big challenge is to encourage other organisations to actually apply the same kind of technologies that we are, and to get other companies in New Zealand to make offerings that are useful for developing countries. So, for instance, even if you're making something like Bluebird chips, you could make an offering for the developing country which is actually nutritious and good for them, and actually get that marketed. If you think about companies like Coca-Cola, they're ubiquitous. So you can make products that actually work and get delivered to the end users. So I just encourage, I think the challenge is I can't do everything, but I can encourage people to start thinking about how they can engage their company in making medical products that are accessible to people. That way we end up with an equitable world, and it's a safer world because we don't have all these separate activities going on. People get unhappy in developing countries because they're basically poor and they can't feed their kids and they get sick and they die. So we can't have this isolated society where we roll around in great looking cars and the rest of the world, 80% of the world is disadvantaged. So my job is to try and bridge that equity gap.
Absolutely inspirational. Congratulations on your contribution to New Zealand and the world, Ray.
Okay, thanks
a lot.
Okay.